In this video, you are going to learn how to do this beautiful 3D animation from Iman Gadzhi. 3D animations are becoming a trend among big creators, so if you want to level up as a video editor and thus earn more money, stick around till the end because you're going to learn step by step how to do it inside of Blender, how to render your final animation, and finally, if you want to follow along, you will have all the assets for free in the description. So first thing you want to do is to download the last version of Blender. It's not mandatory to have the last version of Blender, but I assume most of you don't have Blender yet, so yeah, go install Blender on the blender.org page. Next step, you'll have something like this once you launch Blender. So you want to press A and then delete, and I'm going to take a couple seconds to explain the navigation of Blender, and if you already know how to use Blender, no problem, skip to the next timestamp. So yeah, middle mouse button is to orbit around, then you press Shift plus middle mouse button and then you pan, you do this, scroll wheel, you zoom in and then you zoom out, and that's the basic things. Most of the other keys we are going to get into those while we are in the tutorial. So before anything, you want to make sure that everything right here is fine. So let me move myself a little bit. Yeah, you want to go to this camera here and press on the render settings. We are going to be working on Eevee. Leave the sampling as it is, and you're going to check the ambient occlusion, bloom, screen space reflections, motion blur, and in the color management settings, you're going to use AGX plus very high contrast. You want to use that. That's it for now, and make sure in the output settings, like this button here, you have the resolution of the video that you are editing. In this case, I'm just doing a tutorial, so I don't want to do this like in full 4K quality. So I'm doing a 1920 by 1080 pixels and 24 frames per second. The rest, just leave it as it is. We're gonna mess with those things later. And now let's start with the tutorial. You're going to press Shift A to add a plane. Shift A, mesh, then plane. You want to increase the size up to 14 meters. So open here and then go to item and keep an eye on this. Right now is at 2 meters, so we want 14. So just press S and then drag your mouse. Drag it until it says 14. Yep. Let's close this. We're gonna select this and we're gonna press Ctrl A and apply all transformations. Then I'm going to go to this corner and wait until this icon appears. You're gonna drag to the right, and here we're gonna add a camera right now. Press Shift A, then camera, and we are gonna position the view right where we want it. Maybe like here, and we're gonna press Ctrl Alt 0. So press 0 on the numpad to stop using the camera, and here in the left side I'm gonna press 0 on the numpad just to see the camera. We are going to select the camera and select the data, this icon right here. We're going to leave it on 50 millimeters and scroll down here to viewport display and drag this to the right, just so there's less distractions on this side. Now I'm going to use this side to move the camera where I want. So I'm going to press here on the object settings. We are going to position the camera like this, 0 on the X location. The X rotation, we're gonna leave it at 54 roughly, and then the Z rotation, we're gonna leave it at -180. So now I'm going to go here, go to the viewport shading, and we are gonna drag this up, go to the shader editor, press new, and with the Node Wrangler add-on, so go here, preferences. It's just a free add-on that comes with Blender, so type here Node Wrangler, tick this up, and save preferences. And before anything, we want to download this texture, and once we have the texture, now we click on the principal BSDF, Ctrl Shift T, go to the texture that you downloaded, select everything and click this button, and it's going to apply the texture for you. But first we want to press 7 on your numpad and then press tab to enter edit mode, and then we press U and go project from view. There we go. So now we go here to the UV editor and we select everything and scale this up so we have a nice texture, something like this. Leave edit mode and we're gonna have something like this. So go here and to the normal map and increase the strength so this has a little bit more volume and it looks more 3D and realistic. Then we are going to go to File, Append, and go to the assets that I left in the description. Select this one, Design Chromatic Chess Pieces, Source, Chess Blend, Append, and go here to Collection, Append. Select everything, Append. There you go. This is going to import all this and you're going to delete almost everything. You're going to delete this one too. And we want to use this one right here, so we delete everything. So first things first, I'm going to move this out of the way, then press dot on your numpad and we're going to select here. We're going to press on this button so we have like this X-ray view of the object. We're gonna press 1 on the numpad and then go to here, edit mode, or just press tab. Press Ctrl R and make a loop cut right here. Press left click and then press right click and leave it there. So we're going to select everything here and we are going to delete vertices. Okay, so now go back to object mode and here we want go to the modifiers, add modifier and add a mirror modifier. And select the Z axis. Select the Z axis. Once this is set up, you're going to apply the mirror modifier, pressing here and apply, and then go back to edit mode. Select these vertices right here, go to edge and select breathe edge loops. We'll have this right here. So in edit mode, press A and then press M and merge by distance. So if we have any repeated vertices, this will delete it. So yeah, we can go back to this view and we're going to have like an object like this. Now we're going to go here and we're gonna see the dimensions and we're gonna scale this down until it is like 1 meter and 40 centimeters. So 1 meter and 40. Yes, this is what I want. Let's close this. So select this object and press Shift S and go to Selection to Cursor. So this is going to center this object on the center of the world. So now just press J and Z. Go up until right here, so it looks like it is resting right here. This texture is a little bit big, so I'm going to do the same thing that I did earlier. Press 7 on the numpad, then go to edit mode, select everything and go here to the UV editor, and we're gonna scale this up even more to something like this. We want a lot of, a lot of squares inside of this. That's like my metric, so here seems to be fine. So now go back to the 3D viewport and I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit more. Select the camera, press dot on your numpad, and I'm gonna press G and Z to go a little bit down, and G and Y to go a little bit further, and R and X twice, so it rotates on the local axis of the camera. And something right here, it's fine, we want this to be centered, and there you go. Now go here, press dot on your numpad, and we're going to change the texture of this object. So go here to the shader editor, select this, and it will already have a material, and you want to delete this material completely. Press Ctrl Shift T like we did earlier, select these textures, quartzite denial or something like that, select everything and press this button. So yeah, it's going to look weird at first, but don't worry. Remember to increase the strength here so it looks more realistic. Unplug this base color, the texture that says base color, you want to unplug it, and then you want to go to the roughness, which is a black and white texture, and this is going to allow us to manipulate the colors a little bit better. So click here and stop clicking and add a color ramp. So now you want to plug this color ramp to the base. You want to plug this color ramp to the base color, and now everything is going to be black and white. So we're gonna drag this so the color is more obvious, and then click here and increase the value and go to something a little bit like brown or something like that. Maybe this color will work, and then decrease the value so it is actually brown. We want this to be like a lighter brown, and then we're gonna drag this also so the scratches look more defined, and we're just gonna leave the scratches at white. So now, as you can see, the texture is stretching, so in this case you will have to do UV unwrapping, and I don't know how to do this, but thankfully I know like a way to just select everything, press U and Smart UV project. Okay, and then it's going to be fine. Like, it looks good, and this is not like the main thing of the edit, so it doesn't matter that much. I'm just going to tweak this a little bit so it looks better. I think I want this a little bit more like this color, something like this. You want to play around with the settings. Yeah, I think this is fine, and it looks a little bit weird because here you have press here in the subsurface, and this is the wrong settings, so change it to random walk and decrease the weight to 0, and this is going to look like more like a hard material. So yeah, it's going to be like this. And now press 7 on your numpad, select this object and press Alt D, and we are going to duplicate this. We are duplicating this with Alt D because it's going to save some space, so every time you have like the exact same object but you want to duplicate it, and you're not going to animate it like separately or put like a different texture on it, just press Alt D, because it's not actually doing like a full copy. It's doing like something similar to a copy, but it doesn't take that much space and it's not that heavy to render. So yeah, press Alt D, and we want to do something like this. Yeah, and then here press Alt D and X, Alt D, X,
and Alt D, X.
And we are going to have this. Doesn't have to be perfect, but there we go. So right now it looks something like this, which is fine. I think I'm going to move the camera a little bit more far So J, Y, and then a little bit farther, maybe a little bit lower also, J, Z. And I'm going to leave it there. So now we are going to work on the horses. Go here, file, import GBL or GLTF. Go to the assets and select the horse statue, JZ. And we're going to lift it up, dot on your numpad, and we're going to see JZ, so it lands right here. And now to make and now we're going to work on the horse texture. So select it here in the UV map, increase the strength just a little bit, like 3.5, 3.6. We want this to be like a little bit metallic. I know I know the things in real life are not are either metallic or not metallic, like or 0 or 1. But here it looks good on the horse if we put like a little bit of metallic, like 0.3. It makes it a little bit shinier, and I think in the Iman Gadzhi video they used like the exact same thing. And we're gonna leave it right there. I think it's fine. Select both objects, so select here, shift and click, and now S and scale it right about here. So this is fine, and thankfully it's already in the center. So now what we want to do is to join these two objects, because if we press Alt D on this object, we are going to just duplicate the horse, and we don't want that. So we want to select both. Select this one and shift click this one, right click and join. Now this is just one object, and it's going to be much easier to do 7. And instead of alt click, we are going to do shift click, because we are going to animate the horses rotation separately. So press shift D and go right here. And if you want to do the movements a little bit more sensitive, you can press shift while you are positioning the objects. So again, shift D, you move, and then press shift to make it slower. Shift D again, and there we go. Now everything is parented to this horse, and we don't want that. So I'm going to select every horse just one by one, because I can't do like all at the same time. So right click on this horse and go to parent and clear parent, keep transform. And I'm going to do this with all the other horses. And there we go. Now we already have the horses. Now it's a good time to press here Shift A, and we're going to add an empty JZ and go right about the chest of the horse. Scale it down, press S and drag it down roughly right there, and we are going to select the camera, go here to constraint, add object constraint, track 2, choose the eyedropper and select the empty. And now what this is going to do is going to position the empty in the center of the frame, and this is super helpful. We're going to select the camera and adjust the movement a little bit. Now we want to add the pillars right here, so file, import, GLDF, Greek column pillars, and these are going to appear like way here. So let's move everything here. And there we go. So the positioning here is fine. I want to do Alt D, as you know, so press 7, Alt D, J, and move this right here. then again Alt D and Y, and go right here. I said J before and it's Y. Sorry, I'm not a native English speaker. So I'm going to adjust the camera like here. I think it's better. There we go. I think this is the exact angle that we want. So yeah, the scene is already set up. Now we want to work with the lights and the world texture. So let's go here to world, new, and we want to make the color of the world like completely black. And what this is going to do is just turn the all around, it will turn it to black. So press Shift A, light, spotlight, J Z, and move it up until you can see the point on the left, like right here. And now we go to the data properties. I'm going to decrease the size almost right here, and we are going to increase the blending, and also the power you want to increase it to 3000. So let's go 3000, and now it's going to look like this. Yeah, it looks good. So what we're going to do is press 7, and we're going to do like the same thing we did earlier, Shift D, and center this in the middle of the horses. There you go. Now it's going to look like this right here. It already looks super good, but we need a light like behind here so we can see the floor. Shift A, light, spotlight, press 7 on the numpad, J, and position it like right here, and then press 1, go up, J Z, a little bit here. So grab this and point towards the horse. Now you want to play with the power. Let's increase the power to maybe 5000. Increase the blending to 1, the size to 65, sorry. And now increase the radius also to something like 7. And now I want to increase the power also, so maybe 8000 will be good. 8000. Let's do 10,000. So I want this a little bit closer, so J Z twice. Move this closer and increase the radius. There we go. We have something good here. I'm going to duplicate this light. Shift D, JX, move right here, and then R, and point towards here. And now we can decrease the power a little bit, like 8000, and here also 8000. So yeah, and now these two, JZ, a little bit farther, because we don't want the light to be like that strong. So yeah, JX, so the light is a little bit more centered. JY again, and I'm going to decrease the power again to something like 6 here and 6 here. And yeah, that's the result that I wanted. So now we have this. Let's make a quick render pressing F12, and yeah, we have this scene built up and it looks good, but in the next step we're going to make it a lot better. So press Shift A, add a cube, press S and scale it till it covers the entire scene. So now go to the shader editor, press new, and delete the principled BSDF. Press Shift A, search, type volume, and principled volume. go here and plug the volume into the volume. And we're going to have a little bit of fog here. So we want to play around with the density so it doesn't look that heavy. Maybe 1.01, 1.05. Yeah, I think this is right. 1.04 maybe. Yes, this is what we want. So now we make a quick render again, and we're going to have this volumetric light here that looks super good and super cinematic. So now when we are working here, we're going to have this cube, and we don't want to see it. So let's go here to Object, Viewport Display. And here where it says texture, you want to do wire. And yeah, now it's going to be invisible. And here it's not going to affect anything. So now we're going to add a little bit of text. So press Shift A, select text, press 7 on your numpad, press Tab on your numpad, and we want to do live. So yeah, I can see it. So JZ, and we want to make this go up. Yeah, now it's now it's super up, but that's fine. So press 7 again. So yeah, just don't press 7. Go to tab, type live lessons 2023. Press tab again. And now we're going to go here to the data and press here on the alignment. We're going to put this in the center. And now to change the font, what you want to do is go here to font. You want to press this icon right here and now look to this font. I think that comes with Windows and it's called Bookman All Style Regular. Open font. And it's going to be pretty similar to the Iman Gadzhi font. Go to the data properties and on the X rotation press 90. Press 1 on your numpad and go JZ, and we're going to lower this down, RZ, and drag your mouse and press Ctrl so it's more accurate, and do this like 180 degrees. So now press 7, JY, and we want the text to be roughly right here. Now we press JZ and we want the text to be right here, maybe a little bit up. Yeah, and now S and scale it down, something like this, and I think this is fine. Now what we want is to go to the material properties, add a new material and leave this at white. We're going to scroll down to the emission settings and we're going to increase the emission to something nice like maybe 8, yeah. And this already looks super good. So now what we're going to do is just duplicate this and position the numbers above the horses. I'm going to press 7, Shift D, I'm going to position the text right here, and now I'm going to lower the text pressing J and Z and lower the text roughly right there. Yes, and now press Tab and just put 1. So there we go, and now we want to do like this to everything. So press 7, Shift D, and just position the numbers above the horses. And now what we want to do is change the numbers so it goes from 1 to 7. So there you go, we have the scene completely built, and now we want to do some animation. And this is the fun part of the video. So we want to go to the timeline here, go to the first second, and we're going to end this clip at 100 frames. So now select the camera, go to object, and here you have these little dots, so select them, and this is going to place keyframes just like After Effects. So now go to the last keyframe, and now you want to do your animation. So Jay said we want this to be lower like this, and we want to go forward. Jay said twice, maybe something right here, it's fine. Jay said again. I'm going to lower this text right here. This text, Jay said, life lessons. So it fits in the frame. Jay said again, and yeah, I think I like this. And now I'm going to do this on purpose, but if I move the cursor, the movement is not done, so it doesn't place. So Blender doesn't place keyframes automatically as After Effects or Premiere. So again, we want to do like the same thing. Sorry. Here, and if you see this orange, you just have to press. So this is yellow, and there you go. Now the keyframes are made. So in Blender, the easing, if you are familiar with After Effects, the easing is already like a Bezier, so it goes slow at first, goes fast in the middle, and then slow again. So in this edit, I'm just going to leave this as it is because it's good enough. Go back to the timeline, and now we can see our animation, and it looks super good. So now we want to animate the different objects in the scene. So the numbers, we want to animate the numbers, we want to animate this title, and we want to animate also the horses. So let's start with the title. Let's go to the first keyframe. Sorry, no, let's better go to the frame 50 roughly, and go here to data properties, and rotation X, place a keyframe here. Now go to the beginning, and we want to do RX, and we want to like do this. Yes, so it is almost invisible in this point. RX again, I'm going to go up a little bit. Yes, something like this, and now we place a keyframe, remember? And now it's going to look like this. Maybe we can even do this slower, like here, 80 frames. Yes, it looks good. So now we want to do the same with the numbers. With the numbers, we want to make like in the frame 40, we want to animate the Z rotation. So go here, place a keyframe, go to the beginning, RZ, and move this right here, RZ again. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, place a keyframe again, and now we want to copy this keyframe, and I'm going to paste the keyframe on all the numbers. So I'm going to go to 2, and if you press Ctrl V, it's not going to place a keyframe. First you want to press here, and now you can paste the keyframes, okay? So yeah, now we have this final animation. Let's see. It goes, yeah, it goes and says to, there you go. So here I notice here there is like a shadow of the text. I don't want that. So I'm going to select the text and go here to the material properties, settings, and in shadow mode you want to place none, so the shadow disappears. That's good. So now let's animate the horses. Go here, select the horse, and go to object, and you want to change this mode here from quaternion to XYZ Euler. So this is going to allow you to rotate the horse without problem. So what you want to do is press R Z and just give it like a random rotation like here. Place a keyframe and go to the frame like 160 and go here and type plus 360. Place a keyframe. And now make this, while these two are selected, press T and linear, so it has linear keyframes. And what happened? This is the scale. Oh shit. Okay. Okay, I messed up. So press here, go to the frame 160 and plus 360, place a keyframe, press T, linear, and this is going to make the horse to move linearly to this point to that point. Okay, so I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other horses. First, I'm going to give it like a random rotation so it doesn't look like the same as the other horses. Change the mode to XYZ Euler and keyframe the Z rotation. Go to the frame 160 and here add 360 degrees. Place another keyframe and there you have it. So we want to do the exact same thing with the other horses. And there you have it, the horses are now rotating. And yeah, this is like the final animation. And now, before rendering, you want to do a couple test renders, so press F12 and see if everything is fine and see if you have to correct something. Go here to the last frame and press F12 again and see if everything is fine. In my case, everything is fine. So in some cases you will have like something, for example, you added something, let's say you added a cube like right there, and then you hide it here and you are not seeing that, but now you press F12 and the cube will appear there and you freaked out because you don't know what happened. And in that case you want to also press this camera icon and disable it in renders. So now you press F12 and the cube doesn't appear. Now for the rendering, you want to see if everything is correct. Here in the settings, and now go to the output settings and here choose a folder when you want to render your animation. And now here you have to choose PNG. You don't want to export this as a video yet, because if anything happened, this will take like a long time, and if everything happens you will lose all your progress if you know the lights went off or something like that. So with the PNG you are going to get an image of every frame of the video, and if everything happens you will have all the frames before the lights went off or something like that. So here the compression you want to go down, and that's it. If you have a strong PC, in my case this is going to render pretty fast because it's only 100 frames and I'm doing like 1080 resolution and 24 frames per second. But if this was for a client and the client wants like a 4K video with 60 frames and the entire animation takes like more than 4,000 frames. Even if you are rendering in Eevee, which is pretty fast, it will take like a long time. So what you want to do in that case is use a render farm, and I'm going to show you how to use it right now. But first, if you want to render this in your own computer, just make sure everything here is right. Go to render and render animation on Ctrl F12. But if you want to use a render farm, I recommend you to use this one. So I recommend you to see this tutorial, like install the program and see this tutorial to know how to export in Blender, and it will be fast and cheap, and it will have the benefit that you will be able to use your computer while the animation is rendering. So if you are making a project for a client, you will be able to start like the next animation while this one is rendering. So for example, once you install everything, once you install Garage Farm, you want to go here, you want to open Render Beamer, and now you want to go here, Render Beamer, and Beam It Up Animation. So now it's going to upload your file right here, so you want to wait a little bit. So once it's done, you want to click this button here, click here to submit. It will take you to the web, and now you put here full job. Yes, you want a full job. You select your scene, and if you only have one scene, select your active camera, and then make sure everything is fine here and choose the priority to low because this is the cheap one, and it will be fast either way, so it doesn't matter. And then you submit your job, and I'm not going to submit the job because because this is just a tutorial. So once you have all the frames in a PNG format like this, what you want to do to make it a video is go here to video editing will not appear, but just press here plus video editing and video editing. So go here, and now you're going to press Shift A and image sequence. Go to the folder when you have all the frames and press A, and here you want to put the end frame here in 100 because the entire animation is 100 frames. So then you just add image strip, and yes, this is your video. And now to render this, you have to change this here. You will have to change the folder where you are going to save this animation. And now press FFmpeg video and go to encoding and choose MPEG 4. And here select high quality. And then you go here, render and render animation. I'm not going to do that because I already have an animation. So you want to go to After Effects and import your animation, make a comp with it, and now you want to add a solid, a gray solid, pre-compose that, search for the effect Add Grain, set the intensity to 1.2, choose here Final Output, in the presets choose Kodak Vision 200T. In the color you want to choose monochrome. In animation you want to lower the animation to 0, and now you want to change the blending mode to overlay, and this is going to add a grain in top of our animation. Now we want to add an adjustment layer right here. We want to duplicate this a couple times, and now we add a CC vignette effect. In the amount we want 200 and the angle of view we want 40. This is everything, but I want to add like a little bit more things here. First I want to add a lumetri color effect, increase the contrast a little bit up to 20, and the temperature we're going to lower it down to 50, and this is going to make the image a little bit bluish like the Iman Gadzhi one. And now we want another adjustment layer, and this is optional, but you want to add the deep glow effect that it's a paid plugin. Lower down the exposure to 0.2 and here the radius to 400, and then decrease the opacity of this layer by 30% or so, and this is going to make everything shine a little bit more. And just if you want, you can add a chromatic aberration effect, so chromatic error, and you want to change this to the second option, and the red aberration you want to decrease it to -3, and the blue aberration you want to lower it down to 3 also, but +3, and this is going to give like a glitch effect, and you don't actually need that. So basically this is our animation. Then we add a little bit of color correction, then we add a little bit of glow, we add a vignette, and then we add a grain effect, and it will look like this. And now you render your animation, and that will be the end of this tutorial. If you like it, please subscribe. This is my first tutorial, and it's my first time making a complete English video, so it's a little bit difficult for me, but I hope with a little bit of editing it goes well. Drop a like, subscribe, and I'm going to do more 3D tutorials like this, so subscribe if you want to see that, and I see you in the next one.